Welcome everyone to the second day of the fourth annual Jess Nieto Memorial Conference. I am Edith Mata, BCSGA President and a co-moderator for today. We are here to celebrate the academic life of Bakersfield College and the legacy of Jesus Gilberto Nieto, or Jess, as he was known by all. Today, you will hear from student leaders from Latinas Unidas and L.U.P.E, student activists, civic engagement, past and present, which are subjects that Jess cared deeply about. Now I want to welcome to the stage Bakersfield College Student Government Association Director of Student Activities, Barraj. Please take it away.
Thank you, President Mata, for the warm welcome. Hello, everyone. I'm Barraj, your BCSGA Director of Student Activities. This is my second semester here at BC. And yesterday, I did have the privilege to be one of the panelists for the opening of the Jess Nieto Conference, which was amazing because it was my first time joining and learning about the Jess Nieto Conference. I'm very excited to be here today and hear the wonderful stories. Thank you to our guest for tuning in and to everyone that cooperated to make this event happen, to celebrate the life and legacy of Jess Nieto. I am excited to be one of the co-moderators today with President Mata. Today, we have invited some of the folks from current members and alumni from Latinas Unidas to speak about their experience as a Latina Unida member and where they're at today. Back to you, President Mata.
Thank you so much, Ross, for being here with us today and co-moderating. And I would like to welcome the panelists and also for them to briefly introduce themselves. So Jasmine Herrera, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Hello, yes, thank you, Edith. Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Herrera, and I am a 2021 BC alumni. I actually just transferred this fall to UC Santa Barbara, and I am currently majoring in sociology with a minor in applied psychology. During my time here at Bakersfield College, I was actually a part of a couple of student orgs such as Latinas Unidas, L.U.P.E, Mecha, and I was also a part of the Psi Beta Honor Society. And I just want to thank everyone present today for being here, and I am excited to be here celebrating and remembering the life of Jess Nieto.
Thank you very much, Jasmine, for joining us today. Can't wait to hear everything that you will share with us. And now I would like to bring over to the stage Maggie Ruiz, and please introduce yourself and also what clubs did you belong to if you'd like to share. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Maggie Ruiz. I also was a graduate same year as Jasmine. I recently transferred over to CSU Long Beach. And I guess some previous clubs that I was in before were L.U.P.E, Latinas Unidas, and the Pre-Law Club. Those three clubs honestly made BC everything for me, especially like L.U.P.E and Latinas Unidas. They were like a sense of community for me, and I really miss them, you know. I'm thankfully in some other Latinx clubs also at Long Beach, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Maggie. And then now our last panelist that will be on the panel for the Latinas Unidas is Gabriela Gomez. Please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriela, and I am the founding president and also one of the founders of Latinas Unidas when we originally started at BC. And currently I am working full-time as a customer success specialist for a biotech company, specifically in ag tech. And I am also currently applying for my master's degree for Franciscan University post being at BC for the time that I was there. And right when I was at BC, I was involved with Latinas Unidas and also involved with the Newman Club and the BC Pre-Law Club when it first started, and very happy to be here with all of you today.
Thank you so much for sharing, Gabby. And Maggie, Gabby, and Jasmine will they are part of the Latinas Unidas panel for today, and they're going to share their experiences as a former Latina Unida and now where they're at. And I am currently part of Latinas Unidas and one of the students still here. Um, and yeah, it's a privilege to be able to be here with you guys. So now let's dive into some of the questions that we have for you guys. We want to hear from you. So we'll go ahead and start with Jasmine. What was your experience with Latinas Unidas? Why was it important for you to be part of Latinas Unidas?
Yes, thank you, Edith. So my experience with Latinas Unidas was very positive. I actually like really missed it, like Maggie says. It was a huge contribution to my time at Bakersfield College. Um, from Latinas Unidas, I was able to gain multiple leadership opportunities that developed not only my personal growth as a college student, but also as a woman. I was also presented with multiple leadership opportunities, such as being part of panels, which is something I never, would have thought I would have done. I was also able to complete community service in my community, helping, students, elementary schools, um, and just participating on campus events. And although most of these opportunities were out of like my comfort zone, they all helped me develop my communication and leadership skills that I now use today. Personally, I wanted to join Latinas Unidas because I wanted to find a community of women that uplifted each other and possibly find a mentor in the process who I could build, a bond with and not be afraid, to ask for help or have like a person there when I needed someone like, to talk to. Um, and then I was, informed on all the professional guest speakers that were brought into the meetings during the LU general meetings, which I always wanted to be part of just in general the meetings because all the workshops they brought were to build our leadership skills and to inform us about opportunities for Latina women or just women in general and my academic skills and other learning opportunities I would have not been informed of if Latinas Unidas would have not brought like the guest speakers to the meetings. And fortunately, I was able to like form strong bonds with the student org advisors and the student members in the organization. And in general, my experience in LU was just amazing. I'm like, I can't like put it into words because it was just such a fantastic experience.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jasmine. Um, Now I would like to ask Maggie to please share with us um, your experience with Latinas Unidas and why is it important for you to be part of LU?
Yeah, so my experience with Latinas Unidas was, like I said, it was like such a positive experience. It was like a safe space. Even having like conversations like just within women, was I guess more like intimate. So I really enjoyed it. I initially found out about the club like kind of late into, I guess, my time at BC because I was only able, I think, to be in it like 2 semesters, but the short amount of time that I was like in it, I really enjoyed it. Like Jasmine said, there were like a lot of like workshops that like I really enjoyed being a part of. And having like guest speakers come, and not just that, but like our advisor Brenda, like she's been like a huge support system and just an incredible woman to look up to at BC. And yeah, I really just enjoyed my time.
Thank you so much for sharing with us what LU meant to you and how it keeps supporting you, Maggie. And now I would like to ask Gabby to please tell us about your experience with Latinas Unidas and why is it important to be part of Latinas Unidas?
Thank you, Edith. Oh, so for me, my experience with Latinas Unidas was essential for my personal growth, and it was also important for me because at the time, so I would consider myself a hybrid. I had graduated with my 4-year, and I wanted and still looking to pursue a legal degree. And at the time, I had been working in ag production for a while, and I found out that it just wasn't for me. So I decided to go back to BC, and Latinas Unidas gave me a sense of purpose and hope for me because I ended up leaving agriculture production. I'll be honest, I kind of felt like a failure. I was like, I just graduated and now I'm going back to school, but I realized that my purpose is to discover the thing that I'm passionate about, and being part of a group of Latina women that were empowering me and supporting me. And also it helped me give back to my community because I was raised here and seeing so many Latina women that are going to school, and sometimes as single mothers, we wanted to bring that to BC. And so that's how, it helped me. It helped me as a person and it helped me in my career, but it also, I think, helped so many women become well-rounded. So that was my experience with Latinas Unidas.
Thank you so much for sharing. And on my end, as being part of Latinas Unidas and one of the members, active members at the moment, I just want to share that it has definitely been a support system, a safe space for women. And not just as a Latina, but also as an Indigenous person. I'm an Indigenous person, and just my identity and feeling safe, even though, it's Latinas Unidas, but I'm a blend of both. And it's just nice to feel safe and also empowered by all this, all these leaders here that we have here today, Jasmine, Gabby, Maggie, and I'm just happy to be here with you guys and hear more about you guys' journeys and feel empowered. So I'll go ahead and pass the mic to Roz so she can continue asking the next question. Thank you. Roz?
Okay, so Jasmine, I do have the other question. What other women organizations or clubs are you currently part of, and did Latinas Unidas contribute to your advocacy for women? And what skills or important lessons did you learn from being part of Latina organizations?
Thank you, Ross. So currently here at UC Santa Barbara, I am part of Hermanas Unidas, which is a similar student organization for, Latina women here on campus. It's a student organization that strives to provide leadership opportunities and resources for Latinx students. And like Latinas Unidas, its main focus is academics, community service, and just, providing women with leadership skills and college networking. When I was actually admitted to UCSB, Brenda Valadez, or Professor Brenda Valadez, our student org advisor, she was letting me know about like how UCSB had a Hermanas Unidas chapter here. So as soon as I got here, like I was like, oh, like I want to join, this student org because it's like similar to the one I was in, and I had like a great experience with it. So I was like, oh, okay, like I would like to be part of it. So here, like quickly, I got involved in it, and I have also participated in some social events they've had, and it's just, I guess, in a way, Latinas Unidas contributed to like me being part of this organization because like I actually enjoyed my time as a student member in Latinas Unidas, which helped me, which made me want to join another student organization based on that, women, specifically Latina women. And here I am in part of Hermanas Unidas here at UCSB.
Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad to hear that. So moving on to our next speaker, Gabriela. So Same question, what other women organizations or clubs are you currently a part of, and did Latinas Unidas contribute to your advocacy for women's? What skills or important lessons did you learn from being part of Latina organizations?
Thank you, Roz. I think that for me, I really got involved with Latina leaders of Kern County, in addition to being part of Latinas Unidas here at BC. And I did what they call the L.L.I., which is a leadership institute that they have, and it taught me a lot of leadership skills that are helping me right now in my current career. And then I also help with their youth leadership program. That is a program that helps young women in high school. So we mentor high school students, and we have meetings, and it was definitely during a time when they needed it. It was during COVID, so everything was virtual, but we were able to help these young ladies as they prepared to go off to four-year universities. So it always feels great to see that they go to 4 years universities, whether it's out of town or at Cal State Bakersfield. And it also helped me build the courage. So I am now part of the Young Farmers and Ranchers here in Kern County, which is a branch of the Farm Bureau. So I've been participating there as one of the very few Latinas that represents our county through the California Farm Bureau. So I've been able to learn I've learned through Latinas Unidas to have grit, because you will be facing challenges even after graduation, and any from your workplace to higher education. So it definitely gave me the tools that I needed to be advocating for women and advocating for things that are important in our communities.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So moving on to to Maggie, same question. What other women organizations or clubs are you currently a part of? And did Latinas Unidas contribute to your advocacy for women? What skills or important lessons did you learn from being part of Latino organizations?
Yeah, so currently at Long Beach, I'm a part of Hermanas Unidas. So it's also a chapter that, similar to Jasmine's school, they have these chapters all throughout universities in California. So I'm really thankful to be a part of Hermanas Unidas, because it gives me the same kind of like sisterhood that we kind of had with Latinas Unidas. So I'm able to have, a support system also over there, which, I'm always thankful for. And then I think like a way that I guess that kind of like contributes to me wanting to like continue to like advocate for women is just having that support really gives me like the strength to like work with my fellow like club members. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's just so amazing to hear you guys' story about how Latinas Unidas helped you in the real world, and it's just so inspiring. So moving on to the next question for Jasmine. So since graduation, what have you accomplished or participated in that you are proud of?
Thank you, Ross. So since graduation, our second quarter was kind of like half online. And the first quarter I was just, getting adjusted of moving and settling down and getting to know the area. But like, so far I've just joined like a couple student organizations on campus that have like started getting me involved in the community, and just specifically at UCSB. I'm part of like 3 student organizations, which is Hermanas Unidas, Hermanas Unidas Sociology Association Club, and man, I can't remember the third one. I'm sorry. It's called Mujer. So all these 3 student organizations, I've gotten like to meet new people and like see other student leaders on campus. And although it's like a huge environment, I feel like a huge like campus, I feel like these 3 student organizations have like helped me find like a safe space in each of them. So I've just been attending their meetings, being part of them, trying to get as much involved on campus and in my community here at UCSB. And yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so glad to hear that you're involved in your campus, and it's just amazing. Maggie, same question. Since graduation, what have you accomplished or participated in that you are proud of?
So since graduation from BC, I think something that I'm proud of is attending a four-year university, because I'm the first in my family to actually attend university. So that's like a huge accomplishment to me. But also, I guess, being active on campus, because I'm typically a very like shy person, even though I was I tried to be very involved at BC. I've been trying to do that a lot at Long Beach too. So by joining Hermanas Unidas, or like we have a Latinx club called La Fuerza, and then another club called like SQE Long Beach, which is also like different chapters between like schools. So I've kind of been trying these like different clubs. But yeah, they're all kind of connected to like, I guess, my identity, which I'm always really proud of. But yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing to hear. So moving on to Gabriela, same question. Since graduation, what have you accomplished or participated in that you are proud of?
Thank you, Roz. I think for me, the accomplishment that happened for me this year that I'm really proud of was this last year I got to participate in the Young Farmers and Ranchers discussion meet, which I had the opportunity to compete with other people in the state. And it was a competition that's meant to mimic a meeting, like you would have a board of directors meeting or anything like that. So I had the opportunity of competing with various other individuals in the ag industry, but it was nice to present my insight from my perspective on the ag industry and the ag issues. But most importantly, the biggest accomplishment was definitely when they were headlining and showing who the contestants were. I was proud to show that my background was my grandparents and my parents worked in the fields. So it was nice to represent the voices of Latino women and men that were in the fields working, that we too can be industry leaders in agriculture. So that was probably definitely the best accomplishment for me this year.
That is just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you guys for sharing. And now I'd like to bring back Edith to the stage to ask the next question to our panelists.
Thank you so much, Roz. And yeah, so the next question that I like to ask, it's gonna be for Jasmine. Do you consider yourself an activist or advocate? What does civic engagement and participation mean to you?
Thank you, Edith. So throughout my first year at Bakersfield College, I began being informed about issues occurring in the world, which some affected me personally, or others, my peers, or people in my community. And as time passed, I did notice that I like to advocate for my people, my community, my peers, which it just slowly started happening, because I feel like in high school we're not really informed about like issues occurring in the world. So in college I started to notice like stuff happening like all around my community, and I was just being informed, and slowly it just, I guess, started get occurring. Like, for example, before I attended college, I never even knew there was a Mesa Verde immigration detention center in my community. Like, I had no idea. So once I, joined like student orgs and just got involved in the community, I started being informed, and I started liking to get involved, and then eventually led me to advocating, for, the community, my peers, and just in general. stuff that affected all of us.
Thank you so much for sharing, Jasmine. And I just like to add that just as Jasmine, I was on the same boat with her. I didn't know Mesa Verde was something that was here in Kern County on Union and Golden State. I thought it was somewhere far away where nobody knew where it was. And then it just learning about the issues that our community faces, such as like being actively harassed by ICE, students that come here to Bakersfield College and they have to worry about their safety, about them being abducted from our college or as they're leaving home, and how that is detrimental to studying, and it affects them at a very high scale, mentally, physically, in their academics. So for me, it was an important thing to take a stand on these issues and voice out my concerns, and also the voices of the students that I represent at the moment as Bakersfield College president. But it's something that I remember as I got engaged with this, and just advocating for social justice, Black Lives Matter, also everything that was happening during 2020 and just police brutality, and there's a lot, right? So I just think some folks, they said, oh, you're an activist. And I'm like, well, I'm just advocating, but if that makes me an activist, then I'm an activist, because I'm taking a stand on the issues that affect my community and myself also, because these are things that if you take my friend away from my community, I'm gonna suffer. It's not okay for you to take the leaders of my community. So I embrace that now. It was kind of hard to embrace the activist because I felt like a target. I felt like they were after me because for some reason it has a very negative connotation. And I think to me, being an activist is that you're actually actively doing something to change what needs to be changed and to be the change that you want to see. So yeah, so that's what I have learned throughout this journey, and I do consider myself an activist. And those are some of the forms that I have participated in. Right now, we are just with student government. They're amazing leaders and students, and to just get to lead in a way that it serves the whole entire community, BC community, and also Kern is a privilege. And I thank you to my support system and everybody that believes in this vision of social justice and improving the community for our students. So thank you again for letting me share. And then now I'd like to move on with our next question. And this question is for Margie. Jess Nieto helped bring Chicano studies to BC. Do you feel it's important for students to take an ethnic study class? Why?
Thank you. Yeah, I think it is important because while at my time at BC, I was actually able to take a Chicano studies class, which I actually took with Edith. So it was actually really nice to have someone I know like in that class. But yeah, I think it's important because before I had taken this class, I honestly did not know too much about like the history between like Mexico and the US, or Mexican Americans like coming to the US and their struggles. And I think it's important to have these, not just like Chicano studies, but just like all other type of like ethnic group classes, because it really does teach not just that the specific ethnicity to like about their like history and stuff, but it teaches like other groups what struggles these other people have gone through, which I think is really important, and to, what's it called, in being, a community.
Thank you so much for sharing. And also something that I've learned about ethnic studies, like Margie said, we took this class together. It was very empowering to just discover myself and be authentic and be at peace with who I am, where I come from, my roots as an Indigenous person, as a single mother, just like to kind of like help me ease the traumas, and that it's okay that, I went through all this, but that doesn't make me less than anyone else. So it really empowered me. So I am so grateful for ethnic studies. It also gave me, I was much well-rounded to learn about the different struggles and different cultures and just how to actually, like talk to someone that's not from the same culture as me with respect and just learn to be, learn to live to get live in the same college and just in the community. I think it really did bring a lot of perspective. And also like researching some data, I learned that ethnic studies actually helps like students improve their GPA. Students tend to go to school more because and not ditch class, and this is like at the high school level, because they feel called to come to class because they want to learn about themselves, about their history, about, it's more relevant to them. So it's empowering, and just learning that Black and Brown students are picking up their grades and coming to class, I think that speaks volumes about why ethnic studies is important and why there should be a program at Bakersfield College, and also just for everyone to take an ethnic studies class. So thank you for letting me share that. And I would also we have another question, and this is for Gabby. Do you feel that your student leadership experience breaks stereotypes about Latinas?
Thanks, Edith. And to answer your question, most definitely, and I can't stress yes on this question, than just by saying yes, 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 because for me at least, I know that I work in a primarily male-dominated industry, and you do see Latina women and women in general in the ag industry, but I also work in a hybrid industry, which means not only do I work in the agriculture sector, but I do work in the technology sector. So, and in both, especially the tech side, you are seeing a lot more women coming into this space. And so being part of organizations like Latinas Unidas and having these leadership experiences, meeting with people that are our representatives, anything like that, when you have the opportunity to be in those situations, it gives you the tools that you need to be successful at your career, but also if you're furthering your education and giving you that network of people that are going to support you. I mean, a prime example of that is, I still keep in contact with her, which she's our advisor for this club. And she was actually able to help me write my letter of, recommendation for my master's degree. So when you have these leadership experiences and these connections and this networking, you start building yourself up to further yourself as a person and able to represent the people in your communities that you need to represent. So most definitely, these leadership experiences are crucial to your development as a young woman.
Thank you so much for sharing. And then I do have a follow-up question from the audience. It's for Gabby. It says, what would the agricultural industry do to better help or empower women in the agricultural labor force, either as farm worker women or women who work in industries related to agricultural production? That is the question.
Well, thank you for that. And that's an excellent question. The top three things that I could come up with is definitely one is partnerships between different identities with resources. So one example of that is one thing that the Farm Bureau that is working with is actually helping employees with their naturalization paperwork. And we know that organizations like the UFW assist in that. So if more organizations come together to offer these types of resources, from offering food to workers to offering naturalization help, I think it's vital, and maybe we can start having a conversation, right, on potentially having a reform for a lot of these workers that are working in our industries. So I think that's one way. The second way I was thinking was education. A lot of these women that are working in the fields are very smart women, and they have been in agriculture for years, and they've supported their families in this industry. So I think by continual education, whether it's providing that extended BC class or I mean, now we have those hybrid classes online, but also having a way to teach them the technology that we're seeing that shift in agriculture, I think is another essential thing. And the last thing, which is something that I recently saw on a TED Talk that Lily Singh just came out, is give women a seat at the table. I think it's so crucial that we have a seat at the table and give our perspective on our perspective industry, because you know, it is commonly seen that women are very good problem solvers, but we also have a very good way of empathizing with the people around us. So I think those three things, partnering with resources, education, and giving women a seat at the table, are essential so that our agriculture industry can flourish, but also those people that are in the industry can also have a shot at a successful life.
Thank you so much for sharing, Gabby. And I hope that answers the question to our audience. And then we also have another question from our audience. This is for Jasmine. What advice do you have for Latina BC students who wish to transfer to CSUB?
So thank you, Edith. So some advice I would say I have is just, getting involved, because once I started getting involved, I started meeting new people, I started networking, I started, being able to have leadership opportunities, like for example, um, how I mentioned before, panels and um, on-campus events. I was able to put all of those experiences like on my resume once applying to colleges. Um, and colleges like to see that you're being involved and that you have not only like good grades, but also do outside extracurricular activities, like for example, student orgs or community service in general. So I would just definitely say like get involved, even if it's not on campus in your community. That way you could put down like all these experiences and um, all these experiences on your resume once applying to colleges. And then also, I feel like sometimes, financially, for me, it was like I was kind of scared of applying to like 4 years, specifically UCSB. I was scared because I wasn't sure financially it would be like the best option. However, I got encouraged by my org advisors and my professors to, and counselors to go ahead and just apply. And then financially, you could always apply to scholarships. There's several scholarships out there. It's just up to you, like to actually, sit down and do the scholarships or apply to grants and stuff like that. So I would just think an advice is just to get involved. Reach out to people, could help you and encourage you to apply to, 4-year universities, because there's lots of, help out there. It's just a matter of like actually going out and look for the help and going out and ask for help and, going out to see how you could actually apply to the 4-year universities and other ways around, defeating the obstacles preventing you from wanting to, apply or from leaving your community college.
Thank you so much for answering this question. I hope it answers the question to our audience. And then we have one last question from our audience, and anyone can answer. It says, are there other take that back. Are there other spaces besides higher education where Latina women could organize to help each other that you think would be productive? Would anybody like to take it first?
Can you repeat the question?
Edith, someone says if we can please repeat the question.
Yeah, of course. Give me a quick second. Let me look at it. Okay. Are there other spaces besides higher education where Latina women could organize to help each other that you think would be productive?
I think in the workforce is like another place, like not just like I guess like in schools. The workforce could also be like a place where Latina women could kind of support each other, because I feel like a lot of times there's also the stereotypes of, or I guess as you kind of like increase in positions, I guess people think like women sometimes tear other women down, and like I think having that support of women actually uplifting each other would be like the better message to get out, and, you know, kind of like have that in the workforce. But that's the only thing I can really think of.
Thank you so much. So for answering that, so those are the only questions we had from the audience. And we are going to finalize this panel at 3:45. So I'd just like to thank everyone for being here with us, to our panelists, and also my moderator, Ross, for being here with us today. And if there's any final remarks from anyone, please say them before we end this panel, and we're gonna transition to the L.U.P.E panel. Any last remarks from anyone? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Margie, Jasmine, Gabby, Ross.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and for Bakersfield College for giving us the space to be able to present our experiences and share them with faculty, staff, and students.
I just wanted to say to the panelists that it was amazing to hear your stories, and I really love like each one of your stories and your experience.
I just wanted to add to the responses too. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for everyone who put this Jess Nieto conference together. I am happy I was able to be part of it this year.
Yeah, thank you to everyone. But yeah, if you guys need a club, especially like women, I definitely recommend Latinas Unidas. It's an amazing club. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. This finalizes our first panel, and I would like to just thank everyone again for being here with us, and also our audience for asking questions and engaging with us. And now I would like to bring Manuel Rosas to the stage.
Thank you, Madam President. It's pretty awesome to hear from bold, strong, young Latinas, definitely believe in everything that LU stands for and what they do. So much applause to all of you guys. My name is Manuel Rosas. I'm the faculty advisor for the Latinos Unidos por Educación student org on campus, also EOPS counselor. We have a handful of students here with us that will participate in the panel. It's pretty courageous, right? A lot of our students feel sometimes timid, a little bit shy, but just participating in a panel like this does increase their leadership skills, public speaking skills. So much applause to the students that have been here, even those that have graduated and moved on to other universities like Maggie and Jazzy. Good job, girls. So Professor Bond, thank you so much for organizing this, and the entire committee for giving us a space to be able to share our stories. And can you cue the video for us, please?
El Club de L.U.P.E está basado primeramente en ayudar a los estudiantes indocumentados y estudiantes residentes e informarles acerca de las scholarships, las ayudas financieras que hay, Cualquier cosa de inmigración que necesiten saber, en eso estamos enfocados. Por eso es Latinos Unidos por Educación.
The reason why I joined this club was because when COVID started, I became a little depressed because I was not allowed out of my house, you know. And when this club was offered for me, they said that they provided, you know, support for people and support for the disadvantages that COVID brought. So I became really interested and I decided to join.
I joined it for a friend, but while I was here, I actually enjoyed it and I saw how it was a family and friend oriented group. So yeah, I joined for the ambiente.
Cuando empezó la pandemia, yo no sabía qué hacer con mi vida y Manuel, el profesor, me invitó al club, entonces fue algo que me llamó la atención, la confianza que hay, la unión que hay y me gustó estar ahí. Es algo que me ayuda a querer salir adelante cuando tengo problemas y me inspira a querer crecer con mi comunidad.
So BC does have a high population of Hispanic, Latinx, Latina student groups, undocumented groups. So I feel like L.U.P.E kind of brings that safe environment that any institution needs worldwide or federal or just state.
This club doesn't only have an impact on BC students, but our families as well and other community members which are Latinos or Hispanic or even other races and genders and just everything. The impact that we have is we educate them, we promote higher education and it's like a motivational group for our community.
It's been a great experience, and especially as an immigrant student, you know, being in a new country, you never know people that are the same as you. And this club puts everybody in one little circle and you feel welcomed all the time.
Sí, recomiendo L.U.P.E no solo a los latinos, también personas de otras culturas o de otra raza, no importa, nosotros no discriminamos. Al contrario, agradecemos cuando gente nueva viene porque eso significa apoyo y fuerza para la comunidad, no solo latina, sino toda la comunidad. No tienes que inscribirte, no tienes que pagar nada, simplemente tu presencia, tu apoyo. Sean latinos, sean asiáticos, todos son bienvenidos. Hablamos español e inglés, todos son bienvenidos.
Awesome, thank you for that. And I do have a brief PowerPoint for you guys to see, just to get a little overview of what L.U.P.E is, what it stands for, when it was initiated, when it was created. So let me share my screen with you for a brief minute. Okay, so Latinos Unidos por Educación started about 5 years ago. We're on the 5th year, and mainly because there was a void in organizations on campus that really focus on the immigrant community, students from mixed status families, individuals that were a bit timid at times. And the group just really organized itself. It was a small group of individuals that came together and wanted to develop something on campus that empowered them, that supported them, individuals that came from similar backgrounds in terms of their migration status, in terms of their families, extended families, their communities. And that's the main reason why the organization grew. This is a new group, obviously, this year. So some of the things that we've done in the past is we've mentored several different individuals. We've partnered with many different organizations. We've gone to Mecha conferences, and those have always been very educational and empowering. A lot of the things that we do in these events, in this particular one, students didn't know at the time, but they actually went out to a peaceful rally, peaceful protest, downtown police department. Then they made their way out to the ICE detention center, downtown LA. So I could tell you that that experience really changed our students. It changed me personally, just to be out there and be in solidarity with all the individuals that were part of the conference, including ours, was pretty amazing. Other things that we've done as well is we go to different types of conferences. We focus a lot on immigrant empowerment. So we've gone to UCLA several times. We do understand that our males also need additional support. To be honest and real with you, the organization is dominated by females, right? There's a lot of the females in our group are very successful, and I tend to think that some of the guys are kind of left behind a little bit. So we went to our own conference as well at CSUB just to kind of feel empowered, gain some skills, learn how to be a real man, if I could say that. We've done cultural things on campus like sugar skulls, and that was facilitated by the Patino family, who are amazing individuals. Some of our students have been sponsored by Chirla and UFW to go out and lobby at the state capitol, obviously. So this was a relay for DACA. Obviously, they were there at the Supreme Court hearing, which is pretty amazing. In addition to that, some of the students were sponsored to go out to lobby again for the blue card with the UFW. And this is probably one of my favorite pictures right there, where it says, "Immigrants, we get the job done." Definitely true. That's been true in my life. Outreach has been a focus since we started. The main thing for that is because we've noticed that many of our graduating seniors from immigrant backgrounds that were documented, undocumented, dreamers, DACA, AB 540, many of them pretty much gave up on school before they even started because somebody convinced them that there were no options for them. So we made it a point to go out to some of the schools that had a high number of undocumented students and talk to them about the BC resources that we have, talk about scholarships, opportunities, and just to instill confidence that they could still earn their degrees, still graduate and transfer. The Dream Big conference was mainly specifically, the reason why this was initiated was we also know that at the high school level, a lot of our AP students, GATE students, honors, AVID athletes get a lot of attention, and a lot of our migrant students kind of tend to be ignored. This conference was specifically for English second language learners, students in the migrant program. And again, the message was to empower them. Our students participate in college panels and talked about their experience going to school and gave some very useful advice. We partner a lot with the UFW. Even though some of our students are not eligible to vote, it is still important to register people to vote and make their voices heard. We've supported CSUB and their Dream Center opening. We've had many workshops with Chirla, and that's just them on the right-hand side, who have come and educated us about the issues that affect our community. Going to the Truth Forum, as Edith said earlier, going to the ICE Detention Center is something that's was an emphasis at the time as well, to talk about some of the injustices that we saw in our communities. We had lobbying workshops from city councilmen from Delano and Visalia. That was pretty awesome for students to learn how to advocate for themselves and talk to representatives in our community about issues that matter to us. The Poly Retreat was a leadership gathering. Obviously, we had a lot of fun when we were there. We did workshops on leadership skills. Obviously, we climbed trees. You could probably see Edith in one of these trying to jump off a tree as well. So it was an awesome experience. A lot of us have never done anything like that in our lifetime. So to be able to have funding for that was amazing. What came about this leadership retreat is 4 individuals out of that actually went into student government afterwards. And obviously, one of them is Edith Mata, who is the president right now, which is pretty amazing. For us, being able to communicate with incoming undocumented students has always been a priority. So we've always organized Dreamer Open House just for the incoming freshmen so that they could find a mentor on campus, get educated on the resources on campus, feel welcome. I'm not gonna lie to you, the students are very social. They like to have fun. They like to do things. They like to go bowling, go to concerts. Even though I wasn't there, I heard it was amazing. Christmas dinners and Christmas exchanges, fundraisers, Chicano commencement. A lot of our students go through Chicano commencement. but our students really worked really hard to decorate the entire facility and make it feel more festive, more Latino-like environment. That was our president last year. That's Edith Mata, who is our current BCSJ president. Some pictures of our meetings before COVID, when we were allowed on campus, of course. We know the past 2 years, we did not have an actual commencement, but that's okay. You know, our president then, which Edith Mata, took it upon herself to organize a graduation parade. We had some ASIC dancers, and we still wanted to highlight the accomplishments of our grads, regardless if there was an actual commencement on campus or not. COVID hit, obviously, and we had to do what everybody else did, go on Zoom, go on virtual. That's just some pictures of some of our meetings. I'm not gonna lie to you, during the COVID time and the virtual era, our numbers did dwindle. Participation was a little more difficult, but that never stopped students from still volunteering with the Dolores Huerta Foundation, with the UFW, doing food baskets and so forth. This is another picture of the most recent grads of last year, just having fun, enjoying themselves, celebrating the accomplishments one more time. Christmas dinner. This is this year now that we're allowed on campus. Our president now, which is Kimberly Eli Bautista, has really spearheaded that effort to uplift the club one more time, recruit, build, and they've done a lot of outreach on campus just to make that happen. And that's just them doing a lot of outreach on campus with information tables. Back to school barbecues, all fun, obviously. The mural painting was obviously done by the BCSGA and the organizational skills of Edith Mata and her partners. It was amazing though to participate in something that looked like that, right? It's pretty awesome, very pretty. And I know that only happened because of our current leadership advocated for it. Our meetings outdoors, as you know, we were not allowed to meet on the BC campus, and that's okay because there are plenty of parks, plenty places that we could meet. The students were dedicated, wanted to come together and unite, socialize, learn from our guest speakers that were invited. And that's just emphasizing that regardless if we're on campus or not, we have a dedicated group of students that are willing to still come together and support each other. A lot of our students recently started to volunteer a lot with Salon Juarez, and they will elaborate more on that in terms of what they do and the activities that are going on at Salon Juarez and all the cultural things that happen within this facility. That's our current executive board. Not all of them, but the majority are there. Pictures from the park. And now this is the most recent meeting that we had here on campus. Now that we're allowed to, that's just some of the guys hanging out outside. Our first workshop was from 2 undocumented professionals in the real estate world, loan officers, and they talked to us about how to build credit, how to be a homeowner, whether you're documented or not. Regardless of our status, we can build equity in our homes and build our credit and own our own homes eventually. That is our current president, Kimberly Elizabeth Eli Garcia. We all call her Eli. That's just her with a thumbs up. And that is the PowerPoint. Hopefully you, after that, you got a better idea of what we do and what we represent. So we do have a group of students here, and I'm just gonna ask them questions much like Edith did about their experience. So I'll ask the first question. Why did you choose to get involved in the L.U.P.E organization? Who wants to go first? Go ahead.
I want to go first. Actually, I remember that when COVID, as I said in the video, hit really hard our community, I remember that we all felt really bad because, our connections, they cut them off. We couldn't even hang anymore because we needed to be in our houses. And then when somebody told me that there was a club at school that we're still meeting, even though we had COVID, like the doors opened up for me and I decided to join. And when I joined, I found out that there was a lot of people like me, suffering from things. And then when I got into it, I decided, you know, to start inviting people to come to our meetings and to spend time with us because we never know what they're going through. Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you for sharing, Pedro. Eli?
Hi. The reason why I joined L.U.P.E really a long time ago, 3 years ago. I've been a member for 3 years now, and it was my first year in college. I was scared going, but you know, my first year, I really didn't know anybody. I for like the longest like that, I couldn't go to college, and Manuel introduced me to this community, and I went only for the pizza, but I gained a lot more than the pizza day. It was family, you know, really nice, really welcoming, a lot of good information, and I didn't feel alone anymore. You know, I knew there was a community that really had struggles as me, and that just made me feel like I could go through college with a community behind me and help me.
Hope the pizza was good. Ernie, you want to answer that?
Yeah, in my case, at the time I was part of the Spanish club, and I think our advisor recommended to attend one of the L.U.P.E meetings, and we did, and we were supposed to talk about our club and, you know, maybe recruit some members. And at that particular L.U.P.E meeting, I remember there was members talking about what they've been through as immigrants, as you know. So I basically started hearing my stories, my background, what the pain that I felt, the things that I've been through, you know. And then that's when I realized, actually, I think I'm gonna be part of this group, and that's when I knew I found this group of people that I've been looking for, you know. And some of the members in the Spanish club were also part of L.U.P.E already, but I just didn't know what L.U.P.E was about until then. So it was pretty eye-opening for me, and I feel very lucky to have found this group and be part of it.
So for the record, we didn't steal Ernie from the Spanish club, right? You continue with both.
I voluntarily came over, and yes, I continue with both.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Vasni?
Oh yes, hello, my name is Vasni. Yes, so I came to L.U.P.E because my friend Eli, they were going to be the new president, and they dragged me into L.U.P.E. And yes, at first I was kind of scared. It was my first semester at BC. I didn't really know anybody, but once you go into the group, you have a sense of community. And even though I can't relate 100% to their struggles or what they go through, it was still a sense of that I belonged, and that just like how united they are and how like close a knit group they are. Yeah, I felt like I belonged, and everybody is always super friendly and welcoming. And so that's why I stayed going in L.U.P.E and eventually became the community liaison.
Awesome. Yandy?
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Yandy. So yo lo voy a decir en español. Para mí L.U.P.E fue, ¿cómo me metí? Pues fue gracias a Manuel, ¿verdad? Como lo dije en el video. Y creo que es lo que más me interesó fue cómo se llevan con comunidad, ¿verdad? Porque ayudan a las personas que no saben inglés y hay personas que sí saben. Entonces no te hacen sentir diferente, sino te hacen sentir como uno de ellos y como familia vas creciendo. Entonces eso, para mí L.U.P.E no es nomás son alumnos, sino es una familia donde puedes aportar para el beneficio de los demás y de la comunidad.
Awesome, thank you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next question because we might run out of time. So in what ways do you feel that you have grown professionally or in your leadership skills as being part of the organization?
Okay, so I'll go. So I am, you can say, a shy person and introverted, but with L.U.P.E, with instances like this, it helps you come out of your comfort zone and your shell. And it's made my communication skills way better. And just my public speaking. And as a L.U.P.E, like they said, it's it feels like a family, so that you don't feel pressured or stressed or anything. So L.U.P.E has helped me come out and make new friends, and just my education overall. It's just improved my student life.
Awesome. Thank you, Vasni, for sharing. Angel?
Yes, I remember that when I came to college, I wanted to just, graduate and get my degree and, get out. But then I started realizing that if I got out, I was going to miss everything that was offered to me, like the clubs and all the activities we were doing at the time. And like, let's say connections, I made a lot of connections by gaining trust in myself and learning how to speak to people, and now I know Edith, and then I know a lot of people from the BCSGA, and I'm the current treasurer of L.U.P.E right now, but if God allows me, I'm gonna move into the SGA group. And yeah, thank you very much, you guys, for listening to me.
All right, so we got our next BCSJ officer. Awesome. All right, Ernie?
Personally, I've learned the importance of networking. I guess as a immigrant community, sometimes we think there's no one out there to help us. There's also a constant fear of everything. And I've seen that in my mom's case, where she's afraid of a lot of things when she shouldn't, because she has rights. She has, she can do so many things, but she's afraid because of what sometimes, have we been treated in the past, and etc. But so I've learned here to, with the network, with the things that we've learned, to free ourselves from that fear and to share that information to free other people. And we're also team oriented. We don't want to do things by ourselves. We all have different abilities, and we can all benefit from each other. And also constructive criticism. There's times when, as also part of our culture, at least in my family, some of the criticism, is not constructive, but you learn to be constructive, and then you grow from that. And that's how I felt I've grown.
Thank you, Ernie. Eli, you want to share?
Yes. So what was the question? I'm sorry. I'm moved by the responses. I forgot the question.
It was so impactful. We were talking about how your leadership skills have grown, or how you have grown professionally as a person, as being involved in the organization.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. My speaking skills. At first I remember I was really nervous. I was one of the, even though I was really like outgoing, the meetings, I was sitting back, just observing. I didn't feel yet comfortable. But now it's like my public speaking skills, my organization skills, planning. It gets frustrating, but I've gotten better with that, and it's all thanks to L.U.P.E, because if I wasn't in this club, I would have never forced myself or challenged myself to do things. I becoming the, like, it was never in my plans, but I was appointed and I fell in love with it.
And now you're the president. Okay, we have a question from the audience that says, how did L.U.P.E shape you as a student and to become a better person? A ver, Angel, lléventate.
Okay, you guys. Well, when I got into L.U.P.E, I remember that I wanted to do friends, right? But as time went by, I realized that I was becoming more like a leader because I wanted people to follow me, and they gave me the word whenever I wanted to speak, and that made me feel like empowered. And every time I used to speak, my skills used to increase, and now I'm really good at speaking to people. And I will be glad to invite everyone to L.U.P.E, and I'll do that when time comes by. But yeah, actually, we've grown a lot as a family, and anyone who sees us will, vibe with us because of the important information we've gathered and, explained, and activities we've done, and all those good things that L.U.P.E has done.
Edith, go ahead, Edith. You want to answer that?
And the question is, let me just look at it. How did L.U.P.E shape you as a student and to become a better person? Okay, so first I'd like to share that I am a single mother. I have a son, and when I started college in 2018, it was very hard for me, very hard, because, my baby was like 2 years old and a full-time schedule. And there was many times where I wanted to give up. I wanted to just give up. I'm like, I don't think this is for me, but at the same time, I wanted to pursue my dreams and empower my baby, my son, and myself, and just have a better future, right? So as I got involved with student organizations, especially L.U.P.E, it just gave me a shoulder to lean on, especially when I wasn't coming to the meetings or I wasn't checking in. They would check up on me. Like 7 of my folks would text me, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And, I'd be like, well, no, I'm not okay, da, da, da. And then, they would go visit me, or they were like, hey, you should come. And I'm like, okay. But I think that's how it improved my life. And then ultimately, I started getting involved and just taking on new challenges, learning new experiences, and just becoming the person and the leader that I wanted to be academically. And, I just kept moving up a level. And now here I am. And I think like the best thing for me is to be able to mentor other students and give them the torch, because I'm going to move on. But L.U.P.E is going to continue, and I know that they're going to do great things, and I can't wait to see that. But thank you for letting me share, Manuel. That concludes my answer.
We had to let Madam President answer that because she wanted to. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So what has been some of the partnerships you've developed, or what community organizations have you worked with, and why did you get involved in such things?
One of the foundations we partnered with was Chirla. When did we contact them? We got in contact with them, and we decided, for them to come and speak to us and give us information. Can you guys hear me?
You were on mute.
Yeah, you guys hear me? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Chirla got over there and brought us like pamphlets and little prints about information from undocumented students and like sexual harassment and all that stuff, that we just don't see every day. And whenever we thought about something in our past, we just shout it out, and they answered our questions, and we created really good connections with Chirla because they understood us, that we're undocumented and that we suffer racism too. So yeah, that was a really good connection. I'm really proud of us for that.
Awesome. Eli, you want to share?
Yes. So we've actually partnered up with a lot of organizations, like you showed in the previous PowerPoint. As you showed, we've had Chirla, we've had the UFW Foundation, come and talk to us about the news on rights and DACA and voting registration events on campus. We've also partnered with Alon Juarez a lot, like a lot of volunteers from our part with them, just to help the community, honestly, just to spread the word that it's not just students, go through the same things that we go through, and just to show support, just community, helping the community. We've helped partner with youth leaders, the mural that Edith planned. We also consent fair. Angel was talking about it a little bit. Open house and the migrant program, and I'm pretty sure some of my colleagues can talk about their experiences with those programs.
And I want to go ahead and thank our president, because without her, we wouldn't be able to do anything of this that we have done.
Okay, well, for me, I partnered with L.U.P.E as well for Cash for College. And with Cash for College, we've gone to these workshops to high school students, these seniors, and helped them with their FAFSA and their DREAM Act applications, which encourage them and push them towards higher education, which as L.U.P.E, that's what we stand for, Latinos Unidos por Educación, which us as a group going out to helping these high school seniors that some of them, as maybe some of us in L.U.P.E, we didn't think we could have a higher education because of our status or any other reason. We go to those seniors and we help them and give them that hope and just help them with the financial aid or DREAM Act so they can continue their higher education.
I just want to say too, I was involved in the Dreamers Open House, and I'm not sure if it was this one or the last one, but I really enjoyed, presenting to the new students that they have our support. There's somebody that understands the things that they've probably gone through, and I really like to see that, because as you mentioned on the PowerPoint, I was one of those students that I didn't think I could go to college. I had a 4.3 GPA. I had a straight A's, and I actually went to Arvin High, which is a immigrant, is 97% is Latinos, and I felt, well, I can't go to college. At the time I got accepted to UC Berkeley, and I couldn't claim scholarships because I was an AB 540 student, and I didn't know about all these programs that were available to students. But now I do. And so I don't want those students to miss out on opportunities because someone said, so I strongly encourage students to find out for themselves, read, investigate. And then in our organization, we always have connections, people that can help them, get to where they want to. Also, I was part of BCSGA at one point when President Mata went over, and we were both, what were we?
We were senators.
Had a brain fart. Yes,
we were senators.
We were senators, and that allowed us to represent ourselves and our community at BC. And also I went to the MESHA conference at UCLA, and went to the ICE detention center and to the police station. And that's how you could see all the support and everything that we can do to help our community. We're not alone, and we should allow everyone to see that.
Thank you, Ernie.
También estuvimos trabajando con Dolores Huerta, que estuvimos trabajando de la mano repartiendo comida para las personas que trabajaban en el field, y creo que esto nos dio un apoyo muy grande a L.U.P.E y a BC, porque nos hizo crecer como comunidad y darnos a conocer de que también a los jóvenes les gusta ayudar. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. We have a really interesting question. I'm gonna summarize it for you and I'll let you guys answer. So basically the question is, have you encountered haters, right? Or individuals that don't wish you success? And how do you deal with those kinds of individuals that are not really supportive of what you do?
Personally, I haven't any L.U.P.E, the organization, has. I've heard of certain faculty members that don't agree with us, our presence, because we know we are not very welcome here most of the time, like in the United States, by certain type of people. But we don't really pay attention to that. We just focus on what we have to do and getting our message across that we are here to stay. And like Manuel said, right, in the PowerPoint, we get the job done. And that's what we want to do. We want to get our education. And once we're done with that, nobody can take it away from us. No matter how much hate they give us, we're doing our thing, and we just got to practice.
All right. Thank you, Eli.
I want to speak. I just want to comment that, you do encounter haters and people that oppose, what we want to do. But at a very early age, I learned that negative energy can be used to encourage ourselves and to give us energy to keep going. When somebody says, no, you can't do that, it's like, okay, I'll work harder, extra hours to prove that, yes, I can. And yes, we can. Si se puede. So that's what I do with. That's how I prove them wrong. Those haters.
Pedro, you want to answer that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's because you see, when we encounter bad people that don't agree with L.U.P.E, we just let them see what we do, and if they find interesting what we're doing, they'll obviously change their thoughts, right? So we never judge because we decided to put L.U.P.E as a safe haven. So if somebody goes there, saying bad things, we just accept them, until they change, because maybe they're suffering at home, or we don't know anything about that person, so we just decide to keep it professionally, and that's where we take it on from.
Yandy, anything to add to that?
Estoy de acuerdo con Ángel de cuando eso pasa. Yo creo que la única forma de cambiarle la mente a esas personas que no están de acuerdo con nosotros es demostrándoles qué tan grandes somos como comunidad, ¿verdad? Qué es los beneficios que aportamos hacia la comunidad y hacia los estudiantes. Entonces, yo creo que no hemos tenido tantas reacciones negativas hacia L.U.P.E, han sido más positivas, pero sí hemos escuchado como uno que otro comentario de que pues, somos latinos, ¿verdad? Pero sin embargo, creo que hemos aportado más y hemos hecho más cosas buenas, y hay muchos que han cambiado su forma de pensar negativamente de L.U.P.E.
Awesome. Thank you, Yandy. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the last question because we're running out of time. So can you share with us some of the positive experience you've had? Vasni?
Yes, with L.U.P.E, how we're all young and we all like to have fun. And yes, we have like these study sessions. We had one earlier today. So academically, we're there for each other, and we always help each other, even if maybe we're struggling in different subjects. We're always there for each other. But like I said, we like to have fun. So we go bowling, we go hiking, we go out to eat, some tacos. But yeah, we're always there to fall back on each other. And we have like these Zoom meetings, we watch a movie or just like stuff like that, which, we all like to do. But yes, that's a positivity that it has brought to my life, and just like a community to talk to.
Thank you, Vasni. Ernie?
I know, thanks to L.U.P.E, I developed friendships that I know will last for the rest of my life. And I've also, as I mentioned, I've learned to get rid of a lot of my fear in life. And I really appreciate that. I can appreciate my culture more. I'm proud of who I am, where I come from. And I have, no problem with expressing it. And I know that, I'm confident that my dreams don't always have to stay dreams, they can become a reality. And that's a lot thanks to L.U.P.E.
Awesome, awesome. Angel, Eli, you want to add to that?
Yeah. You know, thanks to L.U.P.E, I've grown in a lot of friendships. You know, I'm a person that loves having friends, and like just like I said, you know, with the and other stuff that go on in your life, you kind of get depressed and you're like, well, I don't have friends, I don't have a community, I don't nobody understand what I'm going. But it's the opposite, you know. You have friends, you literally just text on the group chat like, hey, are you guys down to do anything? The connections, you know, I've heard there were so many other organizations, you know, or groups or stuff like that that, you know, they're always into you, volunteering. You just grow, the community grows, and that has helped me a lot, you know, academically too. You know, there's some students that are doing really good and you're not. You could just be like, hey, let's have a study session, and if they know what you're studying, they'll help you out. There's a lot of opportunities, and thanks to
Aunque también quería agregar algo más de que L.U.P.E, yo creo que lo positivo que ha aumentado en mi vida es que conoces personas de otros países, ¿verdad? Y más sin en cambio te conectas con ellos a pesar de que no son ni de tu misma religión o no son ni de tu mismo estado o país, pero tienen el mismo sueño de salir adelante y de lograr sus sueños. Y yo creo que en L.U.P.E he encontrado mucho eso, de que a pesar de que somos jóvenes, estamos dispuestos a esforzarnos y a querer un futuro diferente tanto para nosotros como para nuestras familias. Entonces, eso es lo que me ha cambiado positivamente a L.U.P.E y creo que agradezco eso porque he conocido y tengo amigos de diferentes países, ¿verdad? Y creo que, pues, como es L.U.P.E, Latinos Unidos por la Educación, también estamos unidos como comunidad y como jóvenes, ¿no? Porque somos el futuro de la nueva era. Entonces, pues, yeah.
All right, thank you guys. That pretty much concludes the panel. I'm super proud of everybody who represented today, everybody from L.U., the entire Jess Nieto committee. Thank you for this space. Everybody who is viewing us, have a blessed day and enjoy the rest of the conference.